What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about two things Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League must show next. So when they do come out of hibernation, right, and whether they're waiting for Hogwarts Legacy or waiting because of a delay or some other reason, they do eventually have to show us more about this game, right? But it's easy to say, oh, well, they just have to show us some more stuff. Well, what kind of stuff? Well, I can think of two things. Now, one of them is a pretty big category, and we're going to go over that first. It's gameplay. Now, gameplay covers quite a few different things, doesn't it? But I guess what I would mean here is raw, unfiltered, and I tend to say this actually for a lot of games. I respect games that kind of sit down and the developer says, let's play through 15 minutes. Let's just go. Whether it's a little chopped up, right, they're kind of jumping around, or whether they're literally just going and just going straight through. I like that stuff. I think that is, well, honestly, it's the best indicator of what the game actually is like, because you don't get the fancy edits when the game's out, right? You don't get to jump to the most exciting things. You just play through it. So let's see that kind of live in action. But what do you get from that? Well, a video I really do want to make as soon as possible, but I can't because we don't have enough info. I want to try to see who I'm going to like the most playing as, right? Which one of these four is exciting. But the amount of gameplay we've gotten of this game is extremely limited. There's been some great trailers. I mean, we keep talking about it week after week, right? They have done a really good job in that sense. But in terms of raw, let's just show you the game. Let's show you how you're going to be fighting these enemies. They've shown extremely, extremely little. And that is something that I think people are kind of waiting on. And we'll talk about, like, the second part of it is live service. You got to talk about what's going on, if you plan to do it live service, what's with the currencies, right? That's kind of part two to this overall discussion. But the reason I bring that up, I think people are still excited for this game because it's Rocksteady. So I feel like you got to lean into that, right? So going back to the gameplay, because you're going to have to talk about the more controversial topics with this game, potentially, I think you need to try to even it out with your bread and butter. Well, why are you going to get this game? Well, you're going to get it because we are who we are, right? The story, I actually don't need any more of the story. So I'm leaving that out. I literally just want gameplay so I can see enemies, so I can see what the maps look like, so I can see how do things kind of progress from one level to the next, right? Drop in, drop out co-op. Again, seeing these four characters, how do they, I mean, we've seen a little bit. How are they different from each other? Can we see some skill trees? Can we see some weapons? Can we literally just see them in action? That's the kind of stuff that I really, really want to see. So, again, gameplay is pretty ambiguous and means a lot of stuff, but I think if you just show us 10 minutes of any mission you want. It could be no spoilers, right? Or 10 minutes of a part of a mission that also wouldn't have spoilers. We could see, again, location. We could see enemy types. We could see how does it work me playing by myself, but I have the AI with me. How does it work me playing with the other, other people online are playing as these characters? How will all that stuff work? Who's fun to play as? Who connects to me? We don't really know any of that stuff yet. So that's one thing. That's the thing I think they're going to show, whether they kind of want to or not. I think it's kind of inadvertent that they'll have to. The second thing is that live service stuff. Now, careful with my words, right? I'll give a warning to myself. I know that they've never said that this game is, a live service thing. So when I say live service, I guess I mean how will the game function? Not from gameplay, but tell us a little bit about how you want this game to survive. Do you expect this game to come out? Is it a single-player thing? Well, it's not single-player because it's got the co-op, but is this a game that's meant to come out, you play it for a week, it's 25 hours, you beat it, and then you move on with your life? Or is this a game that you're going to want to support long-term? Is this a game with a season pass? Is this a game with routine updates? Which, everything kind of leads to season pass, right? If you're going to give us 4 things in the first year, is it more live service, or are you literally giving us a season pass we pay $30 for, and you give us, a 2-hour mission every 2-3 months? How does that stuff work? That is incredible, and we've talked about this before, right, because of the leaks. That is incredibly, incredibly important that they get out. They can't already. They get out ahead of it. They've already failed at that because, that's not necessarily their fault, right, because it leaked, but they do need to start talking about it. I think the worst thing they can do, and this is just my opinion, I know a controversy, I like to talk about, when certain things happen. I know some people say, Alex, maybe just leave it alone and you talk about the positives. that's valid. I don't choose to do that. And so, that's just me versus other people. But I do think it's not a wise move to pretend like that leak didn't happen. And I don't mean like you have to reference the leak, right? Like when they do the next gameplay thing. I'm not saying that they have to say, hey, we know you saw that picture, so let's kind of like settle you all down a little bit. No, nothing like that. But I think they need to be aware of what people think the game is. Does that make sense? They need to kind of have a pulse on the internet to say, man, people think it's going to be live service, and so maybe people aren't going to buy it. Are we going to be supporting the game, or people think we're going to support the game for like 2 years, right? Whatever they think that we think, they need to kind of talk about. And again, you don't need to address the actual picture leak, but you do need to say, all right, here's the plan. This is a game that's meant to be this when you buy it, but it's also a game that's meant to be something else over a period of time. And you need to say that. And I think that's kind of what you need to do. I mean, again, that's the point of this video, right? It's not something you wait till like a week before the game comes out to say it. I think the next time we see this game, that's gotta be part of it. It has to be. Because you gotta settle people down. And not even that. I mean, to be honest, everybody's got different opinions, right? Not even necessarily settle people down. You gotta just explain what this game is. And so those are my 2 things. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.